if anybody would like to talk, anyone would like to share anything about what I've just spoken about. So we've got Rachel. Rachel, you're wanting to be the first one on today. So if you'd like to unmute yourself.
Hey,
Hello.
Sas.
Hi.
Thanks for reading Desiderata. And apologies for not sending the reminder e-shot out until just before the show started. Apologies for that. So I'm going to be vexatious to your spirit, Sas. I'm going to be loud and aggressive today in outrage at Rishi Sunak and his decision to bomb the Houthi rebels. And then go to Parliament for a retrospective vote. I mean, what the... Oh, like they've completely overridden. I mean, it's just classic. I mean, the Wetiko is really showing itself for what it is. Just that decision to bomb, and isn't it interesting they use these phrases like Houthi rebels or Hamas. They try and it's been done to us at Crestbrook Dale. Oh, it's the Phoenix Rose. They try and make it sound like some kind of terrorist group, but really they're freedom fighters. Like they're like us, So this is the thing. Oh, they're the anti-vaxxers. They're the Houthi rebels. Oh, they're the Hamas terrorists hiding in tunnels. And I was listening. I don't often listen to Radio 4, but I did the ferry to my son's school this morning early, which is why I was a bit discombobulated. And I was listening to Radio 4, listening to Grant Shapps, is it, who's the defense minister, defending Israel and defending how legitimate it was for Israel to bomb Gaza, and was given quite a hard time by the interviewer, I have to say. And he was just spouting this official line with the Israel, oh, the Hamas have embedded themselves in society, and therefore we have to destroy all of these installations, so we can't avoid killing the people. And then, of course, the other big thing is Rishi Sunak has declared some huge billion, I forget how many billions, for Ukraine.
Yeah.
I mean, like, the people in this country can't pay their energy bills, and yet, and they can't afford to, give doctors and nurses a pay rise. Oh, no, we can't afford that. Oh, but Ukraine, oh, yeah, you have a few billion quid of our money. How many people, if we did a straw poll of the public in this country, would say, would you prefer those billions of pounds to go to British people to support them with their cost of living, or shall we send it to Ukraine, or shall we spend a few million on rockets to bomb ships or whatever they've done in the Red Sea? I mean, it's absolutely outrageous. So apologies if I'm loud and aggressive, but I feel very angry about what's unfolding. And it's interesting that they're now talking about replacing Rishi Sunak. Just looking here, that the polls are showing a complete wipeout in the general election. I think it's going to be May. I've received campaign material from my local chocolate teapot con party MP Sarah Dines, with a promo for the East Midlands Mayor con party candidate Ben Bradley. So the fact that they've gone with promotion this early suggests it is going to be in May, at the same time as the mayor elections and the local council elections, I imagine. And who are they going to bring in? Well, I wonder if they're going to bring back David Cameron. I don't know if that's possible, but that to me would be the last ditch, attempt to revive popularity, because at least he did capture the imagination of the public. Anyway, I just wanted to come on first. I could rant all hour long, but I'll end it there.
Well, I quite understand, Rachel, because that's why I was saying what destroys your peace. And to me, I was absolutely horrified that I think he's pledged, I think it's between £3 and £4 billion to the Ukraine, Rishi Sunak. It's an inordinate amount of money. And the fact is, it's all coming from us anyway. And we're actually complicit because we're paying everything we buy we pay a tax on it. People are paying their obviously their council tax, they're paying tax on their income, and all of that money, not all of it, but a lot of it, is going to these agendas, which are to bomb and kill and maim. And the fact they call it collateral damage is absolutely disgusting. They call
Yep.
children, women, and men, human beings, collateral damage is absolutely disgusting. So I was going to say that's what really does destroy my peace, is listening to this absolutely horrendous world that they are wanting to create. But none of us, I don't think anyone, if you ask the general public, would want this, would they?
No, absolutely.
They're
And I
not.
think it's this powerlessness. I think that if I had to boil, it's like that powerlessness to not be able to do anything in the face of this Watiko playing out. I think that's the big thing that I've, what can I personally do apart from speak out?
Well, this is why I bring, I always try, I'm not saying I always make it happens, but I always try and bring a solution, because we can't physically go out and stop this happening. It's not possible right now for us to all go over, and because we are under this pyramid where the top, of the pyramid decides what's going on for the rest of us. But obviously, the pyramid can collapse by the people at the bottom sitting in Zen and sitting in peace. So I feel that's the only way we can really make an impact, is to find our own peace, to bring peace to ourselves, which is why I was talking about these scenes who obviously are completely connected and in peace and in harmony with their environment, but very difficult to do. I mean, that was over 2,000 years ago. But that to me is what it needs to be resurged, is to come back. But at the moment, it's how we, you're just telling us what has basically destroyed your peace over the weekend, what's making your blood boil, what's making you rage, but if we're all doing that, which is perfectly understandable, and I think it's important to be realistic that we're not going to be peaceful and harmonious all the time, but to strive towards that is, can we bring ourselves back to that place of peace when we've gone out of sync with our peace because of these external factors that we don't seem to be able to have any effect on. What we can affect is what's going on within us, because what was within us, as we know, is what then is basically projected outwardly. So is
But
this going
I
on?
would say, Sas, though, for me, it is like rocket fuel
Yeah.
because I use that rage as like pure, like rocket fuel to say, right, I am going to speak out. I'm going to run for election. I'm going to speak the truth. I'm going to use every avenue. I don't care if I'm elected or not. It's just the speaking out and to withdraw my support from the system in every which way I can, every last way, to withdraw my personal individual support and to make it as difficult as possible for them to keep this shit show going. Because if every one of us stood up and said no, it would be game over.
I absolutely agree. The rocket fuel you're talking about is the creative energy, is the creative force. However, we want to use it to create things rather than to destroy. And obviously, that energy is like it's what galvanizes people to change things and to do things. But it just feels, a lot of people feel impotent in their lives because it feels as if it's too a measure, we can't get a handle on it. How can we affect things? So this is what we're looking. This is why I was listening to, wanted to hear what people have to say about what destroys their peace. So I appreciate you bringing that along, because there's a lot going on to do that. But what can we do? What brings you peace, so we can focus on that as well. But also, it doesn't mean not taking action. Action is the fuel to move you into doing something about it. But what? And you're saying you're going to be standing for, politics in a political arena, but are all the politicians just puppets on strings?
I won't be.
So we need quite a few of you there, don't we? We need you to join up with lots of others that are also in the same vein to
That
change
is the
things.
thing, for people to stand as independents. I mean, Andrew Bridgen, he is standing as an independent. I think there's a lot of people are going to stand as independents because you cannot vote for an MP, and the party politics are more important to the MP than the people. And that is the problem we have in politics, is that the MPs, they pretend to be for the people, like Con Party Chocolate Teapot, Sarah Dines. She can't dance to both masters. She pretends to be for the people of Derbyshire, but in truth, she parrots the Cabinet Office rhetoric. and all of those MPs they're whipped to follow the party line, and therefore she will be behind Ukraine. She will be voting in favour of her government because she knows that she'll get booted out of the Conservative Party if she does not vote and support the bombs and everything that the government is doing. And that's how they operate, to make everyone compliant. We have to end party politics, and that can only be done if the people vote for independence outside of that system. Sorry to hog the call, but I feel very strongly about this.
Well, it's okay, Rachel. You're allowed. You've got a Telegram channel called Rachel Speaks Out, so that's what we expect. What we're expecting.
I'll mute myself now.
But yes, I understand. So anybody want to reply? We'll go to Annie. Annie, if you'd like to unmute yourself.
But I did just want to share one thing just to end. And thank you, Louise, for coming on and speaking out. If you've been on since the beginning, that will be like in January 2021. So that's 3 years on. So well done for coming on and speaking. Now, I just want to say this thing about elections, a couple of big points. This idea that we will split the vote, the real vote, the real game changer is the lost electorate. And there seems to be a narrative within the freedom movement of don't vote, don't be part of the system, don't endorse the system, it's a waste of time, you're supporting democracy if you vote. And unfortunately, what that means is we leave a complete open goal for the Punch and Judy show, Red and Blue, to walk straight in and win. So I know a lot of people also don't want to, or aren't maybe even registered to vote because they don't want to pay council tax, for example. And fair enough. But I would say if you are registered to vote, if you're on the electoral register, get in and vote for an independent or whoever your choice is that isn't the Red and Blue. Because if all of the none of the above, because it's 50% of the electorate don't bother to vote in a general election, certainly in this area, 51% or 49%, I forget the exact, in Derbyshire Dales didn't vote at the last general election. And it's as high as like 72% at a by-election. So if we can just re-engage that lost electorate to get out and vote for none of the above, for an independent candidate, we could, as independents, it is possible to completely sweep the whole of the party political system away. Now, it's very easy to stand as an MP. All you have to do is go to the Electoral Commission website and you download the form. It's a 17-page form, but there's actually only 2 pages to fill in if you're an independent. It's deliberately designed to look overwhelming, but it's actually very simple. You do have to pay £500 and you get that money back if you get 10% of the vote, I think it is. But for that £500, you get the right for a mail shot to every single household in your constituency, which in Derbyshire Dales is 68,000 households. So for £500, you get an opportunity to put in your message to the entire area, the region. And that alone, to me, is worth standing for, because people do read and listen to election literature in a way that they don't just listen to, maybe wouldn't read a freedom leaflet coming through the door. But if it's an election leaflet saying, vote for whoever whatever your name is, in my case, Rachel Elnaugh-LOVE, vote love. And I will be standing as Rachel Elnaugh-LOVE. That is my commonly known name. I just want to assert that once again for the Crown Prosecution Service. If you are watching this, and Detective PC Plod, who came here the other day, I will be standing. And if you attempt to stop me standing, that will be an affront to democracy. Anyway, I could rant on about this, but I would encourage anyone in your constituency to stand as an independent on behalf of the people. You don't even have to have a policy. Every single policy is what the people want. What's your policy on war? It's what the people want. I will ask the people every single question. I will ask the people, what do they want? So it takes it completely out of the hands of party politics and it puts it back in the hands of the people, which is what MPs were originally supposed to be about. They were representatives for their area in the interest of the people of that area. And they were the servants of the people. They were not the servants of the World Economic Forum or a political propaganda or prospectus or an agenda. So sorry, I'm hogging the call, being the bookends to the call, but I do feel very strongly about this, and I do feel that they may well try and avoid the general election by pushing through with World War III, but let's assume that they are going to run. I would encourage everyone who in their area to stand as an independent, please.
Thank you, Rachel, for that gathering people's energies to do something about things.